Melody Shari has once again proven that no matter how much Martell Holt tries to spin things in his favor, the truth always comes out. And as things stand right now, it looks like Martell's luck is finally running out. Viewers, this is one of those moments where you'll want to stay with me until the very end of this video, because the deeper we go, the more shocking it gets. I promise you, every single detail is going to have you shaking your head, asking how Martell continues to escape real accountability, and wondering if this time he may have finally pushed things too far. So make sure you stick around because the full picture is even messier than you think. Let's start with the very thing that has everyone talking: Martell's legal trouble and how it connects to his ongoing battle with Melody over custody of their children. For years, fans of the show have seen Martell present himself as a devoted father, someone who wants to be there for his kids. But behind the scenes, there's a whole other story playing out in the courts, a story that paints Martell in a very different light. Recently, it was revealed that his charge, which many believe to be tied to something serious like domestic violence, ended up being reduced all the way down to harassing communications. And the punishment? Just $400. Yes, you heard that right. $400. Think about that for a second. After everything that's been said and all the pain that's been discussed, it boiled down to a small fine that wouldn't even cover the cost of dinner at a nice restaurant. Now, if you're anything like me, that number makes you stop in your tracks, because how does someone who's been accused of so many troubling things walk away with such a light penalty? That's the question that has fans completely frustrated, and it's why so many people feel like Martell always manages to slide out of situations that would bring most people down. But here's the part that's even more disturbing. He's likely going to try to turn this around on the show. Just like Maurice Scott once spun his own legal case to make it look like he had every reason to celebrate, Martell is gearing up to use the cameras to gaslight not only Melody, but also viewers at home. You can already see it coming. He'll stand in front of the cameras, flash that smile, and say something like, "See? I told you it wasn't that serious." But don't be fooled, because here's the truth. The fact that the charge was reduced doesn't erase what was alleged. It doesn't take away the pain or the fear that came with those situations. And most importantly, it doesn't change the fact that Melody Shari has had to carry the weight of this while still showing up as a mother, a businesswoman, and a reality TV star. She has proven time and time again that she's the real boss. No matter how Martell tries to bring her down, Melody stands tall, and fans rally behind her because they see her strength, her grace, and her determination to protect her children at all costs. And let's be clear, this custody case isn't just about paperwork. It's about safety, it's about stability, and it's about showing the kids what accountability really looks like. And if you think this stops at Martell and Melody, you'd be mistaken. The entire cast of Love and Marriage Huntsville is tangled up in this storyline one way or another. Marceau Scott has made his own sly comments about Martell, often trying to keep himself at a safe distance from the mess. But you can't ignore the fact that Marceau has been right there in the middle whenever drama explodes. Letitia Scott, on the other hand, seems to always find a way to bring Melody's name into conversations, almost as if she's threatened by the fact that Melody continues to rise no matter what's thrown her way. And then there's Maurice Scott, who viewers still remember twisting his own legal case into a narrative that made him look like the victim. It's not far-fetched to believe that Martell is taking notes and preparing to do the same. But let's bring this back to the core issue: Martell Holt and his refusal to take accountability. Think about it. If Martell had come out at any point during this process and said, "You know what? I made a mistake. I take full responsibility, and I'm going to do everything in my power to change," the conversation would be completely different right now. People make mistakes, even big mistakes. But when someone shows genuine remorse and takes steps to do better, people often find a way to forgive, or at least to respect the effort. But Martell hasn't done that. Instead, he's doubled down time and time again, deflecting blame, pointing fingers, and painting himself as the victim of circumstances he created. And that's exactly why so many fans believe it's only a matter of time before he lands in even deeper trouble. The courts may have gone light on him this time, but patterns don't lie. When someone refuses to change, when someone refuses to take real accountability, the cycle repeats itself. And fans are already predicting that this isn't the last time Martell will find himself in front of a judge. The sad part is, while he's busy trying to prove that he's not in the wrong, Melody and the kids are the ones left to deal with the consequences. And isn't it ironic? The very woman he tried to break, the one he constantly undermined, is now the one standing as the true boss. Melody Shari has turned every setback into a setup for a comeback, and fans admire her for it. Now, let's talk about the message this whole situation sends to survivors everywhere. When charges like this are reduced, and the penalty is something as minor as $400, what does that say? It tells survivors that their pain doesn't matter, that what they went through can be dismissed with a simple fine. And that's what makes this case so infuriating. People expected better. They expected the system to show that what happened was serious, that it mattered. Instead, it feels like Martell got a pass yet again. And while he may feel like he's won this round, the bigger picture is that the court of public opinion isn't letting him off the hook. Fans see through the spin. They see through the excuses. And they're not buying it. Just look at the conversations happening online right now. People are openly saying that Martell has gotten away with far too much, and that eventually the truth is going to catch up with him. They compare him to others who've made mistakes but faced real consequences, and they can't name anyone else who has slipped through the cracks as many times as Martell has. That's why this moment is so crucial. It's not just about one court case, it's about a larger pattern, a dangerous cycle that could repeat itself if it's not stopped. And fans are pleading for Melody to hold her ground, to keep fighting, and to make sure the truth is exposed. And speaking of holding ground, can we take a moment to appreciate how Melody continues to rise above? Despite the custody battles, despite the court cases, despite being dragged through the mud on and off the show, she still shines. She still builds her businesses, she still shows up for her kids, and she still manages to film a reality show that thrives on chaos without losing her dignity. That's why fans call her the real boss, because no matter what Martell does, Melody finds a way to keep winning. And that's the part Martell can't stand. He may try to gaslight the viewers, he may try to twist the story, but the reality is that his actions speak louder than his words, and his track record doesn't lie. And here's the hook. This is only the beginning. If you think Martell's story is ending here, you're wrong. This season of Love and Marriage Huntsville is going to be explosive because you better believe Martell is going to try and use the cameras to his advantage. He's going to try to rewrite the narrative to convince people that he's the victim and that Melody is the problem. But fans aren't falling for it anymore. They've seen too much, they've heard too much, and they know exactly what's going on. So, the question is, how much longer can Martell keep escaping real accountability? How much longer before the system, or even his own actions, catch up with him? Because one thing is certain, Melody Shari isn't backing down. She's stronger than ever, and she's fighting not just for herself, but for her children. And if Martell thinks he can keep skating by without consequences, he may be in for the biggest wake-up call of his life. And trust me when I say this, you are going to want to stay tuned all the way to the end. Because the deeper we get into this situation,